Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We are a non-commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. My name is Artem and here is the news. For 316 days, Ukraine defends itself against the Russian invasion. Russian President Vladimir Putin has instructed Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu to impose a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine, reports Interfax Ukraine. Putin called on the Ukrainian side to join a ceasefire and enable Orthodox believers to attend services on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day, 6th and 7th of January. President Volodymyr Zelensky in his evening video address accused the Kremlin of trying to use Christmas as a cover to at least briefly stop the advance of Ukrainian forces in Donbas and bring equipment, ammunition and mobilized men closer to their positions. He stressed that everyone in the world knows how the Kremlin uses respites at war to continue the war with renewed vigor. But to end the war faster, that is not what is needed at all. What is needed is the citizens of Russia who will find the courage to free themselves of their shameful fear of one man in the Kremlin, at least for 36 hours, at least at Christmas time. Zelensky informed that he held a meeting of the staff devoted primarily to the needs of the armed forces of Ukraine and security forces. He stressed that there is an understanding that Ukraine must use the nearest time, January and the beginning of February, to be ready for any attempts by Russia to use new mobilization resources. United States President Joe Biden said that the instruction of Russian President Vladimir Putin to introduce a ceasefire in Ukraine on Christmas is an attempt to take a rest in the hostilities waged by Russia, reports Radio Liberty. Biden emphasized that at the same time Putin was ready to bomb hospitals, kindergartens and churches on December 25th and New Year. "I think he's trying to find some oxygen," said the US president. State Department spokesman Ned Price called Putin's ceasefire cynical. Quote, "We have little faith in the intent behind this statement," unquote. He expressed concern that Russia would use the break to regroup, rest and eventually attack again. Price noted that Putin may seek to deceive the world by giving the impression that he wants peace. The spokesman stressed that if Russia was really serious about peace, about ending this war, it would withdraw its forces from the sovereign territory of Ukraine. Foreign Minister of Germany Annalena Baerbock said that Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to continue the war after a short break and the so-called ceasefire will bring neither freedom nor security to people, reports Interfax Ukraine. She also said that if Putin wanted peace, he would take his soldiers home and the war would be over. She stressed that Germany will continue to support the Ukrainians so that they can live in peace and self-determination again. Germany announced plans to supply one battery of Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine following the transfer by the US, reports European Pravda. The US also plans to provide Ukraine with Bradley infantry fighting vehicles and Germany plans to transfer Marder armored vehicles. The announcements were made after the phone call between US President Joe Biden and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Both countries also plan to train the Ukrainian military on the respective systems. Earlier, the media reported that on Friday, the US will present a new package of security assistance to Ukraine, which will include about 50 Bradley fighting vehicles, and its cost will be approximately $2.8 billion. It was also reported that the German Ministry of Defense is discussing the possible supply of 20 to 40 Marder infantry vehicles to Ukraine. In addition, according to the German media Spiegel, Berlin intends to transfer additional Gepard air defense systems to Ukraine. Negotiations are already underway with two countries that still have stocks of Gepard installations and a large number of ammunition for them. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky held a phone call yesterday, reports Interfax Ukraine. They discussed Turkey's humanitarian and energy assistance to Ukraine, as well as the issues related to the grain export from Ukraine and the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Erdogan stated that Turkey stands ready to assume a facilitating and mediating role for the restoration of lasting peace between Russia and Ukraine and in negotiations about the prisoner exchange. Zelensky said that Turkey confirmed its readiness to participate in the implementation of Ukraine's peace formula. Earlier, the Turkish president had a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. During the conversation, the war in Ukraine was also discussed. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.